When was the last time you wowed yourself, created something new? Leadership is practice, not position, and it requires creativity. Sometimes, as grown-ups with big responsibilities, we forget to tap into it. The Artisan Leader helps you do just that. Through coaching, consulting, and teaching, they meet you where you are in a judgment-free space to help you make your mark on the future of your company. Their consulting expertise is leadership development and workplace culture, and they provide team building, strategic planning, and leadership workshops to companies focused on caring well for their people. To learn more, visit theartisanleader.com. Well, good morning and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. It's your host, Foster Garrett, with you today. For those who are new to the podcast, this is what's going on. We are, the Bedford Chamber is an organization of businesses and community leaders working together to bring prosperity to the Bedford region. And to support and collaborate with businesses and organizations around here. It's your point of connection with the community and business. So every week, we bring a chamber member onto the podcast and interview them, let them talk about who they are, what they do, and, the awesome things that they have going on and the services that they provide to our area. We always have a very different guests every week. We've done things from senior care to, to mortgage loans, to real estate, to all sorts of things. And I always really enjoy getting to learn from everybody. So we'll get to the exciting part of this podcast in a moment, and I'll introduce our lovely guest. But before we do that, I just want to go over some of the great events and programming that we have coming up. We actually have basically a week full of programming, not next week, but the week after. On October 25th, we will actually have the Bedford Candidate Forum for candidates representing the town and county of Bedford and are running for election in this election. So it's going to be anybody that is opposed, facing an opposed seat with the Town Council, Board of Supervisors, House of Delegates, and Virginia Senate. The first half is going to be dedicated to the Town Council candidates because there are so many of them this year. It's crazy. And then the second half will be everybody else. This is going to be not a debate, but an informational session for voters leading up to Election Day. So it will be moderated by Tim Saunders with Virginia CareerWorks, who is great and always moderates all of our events because he just can do it. That's what happens when you've been on TV before. But anybody, any residents that want to attend or want to ask a question for the candidates can submit their question online. There's a submission form right on our homepage on bedfordareachamber.com, and you can also mail us some questions too. Like I said, that is October 25th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Liberty Middle School. We would love if you could RSVP just so we can have a head count for refreshments. Bridge Street Cafe is going to be doing them, but there's no need. It's not a ticketed event, but it would just be a nice courtesy. The very next thing that we have is the next day, actually, October 26th, and it is our last after-hours networking event for the whole year. We're having a Live at 5 with Magnolia Mountain Realty. They always host us in October for a Live at 5, and we look forward to going back there greatly. Their location is really cool. It's right on Longwood. It used to be a flower shop, and it is just a very pretty, nice shop. So if you've never been to Magnolia Mountain and you want to stop in, well, now's your time. And they always have a great spread of hors d'oeuvres and beverages for everybody. So bring your business cards, bring a friend. All of our networking events are free and open to the public. So yeah, October 26th, 5 to 6 p.m. is that one. Okay, I will get through two other things, and I will quickly go over them. On the 28th, which is Centerfest, Bridge Street Cafe is actually going to be celebrating its second birthday. So we will be there for a ribbon cutting ceremony. We did one when they opened for their first year anniversary, and now we'll be there for year 2. So we're really excited. Come over there at 1:30. The Haydens are going to have some really great stuff going on over there. So yeah, use the excuse at Centerfest, go out and have a great time, and then stop by Bridge Street Cafe at 1:30. And then the very, very last thing that I will mention is our Christmas market. That is the last signature event for the year for the chamber. So it's our last really big event. It's November 4th, which is a Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this year, we will actually be at Spring Oak at Bedford, which is the Elks home. The new owners, Spring Oak, are so excited to have us there. They love the Elks home because it is gorgeous, first of all. It's historic, it's huge. It's actually their center for their operations in Virginia, it's their headquarters. And also, they really respect and want to bring back the fact that the Elks home was a center for the community back in the day. That's where I had my prom. So, yeah. So it's been used for a lot of great things in the past, and maybe it fell off a little bit during COVID, but they're looking forward to having people back there. It's going to be a great time. Our Christmas market is actually my boss's favorite event that the chamber has done because we always have such a great turnout. We have so many vendors that just show the various offerings that our area has, whether it be crafts, produce, information, services. Um, if you are a church, a club, a small business, whatever, we want you to come out and hang out with us. So you can find more information about the Christmas market, which again is November 4th from 10 to 3 at the Elks Home, which is Spring Oak, Bedford, um, on bedfordareachamber.com. The very last day to register is October 28th. And some of the people that will be there with us are the Well, the SML Civitan Club, Cincy, Santasia, and a bunch of other great vendors who have signed up. But we still have plenty of room for vendors both inside and outside. And we'd also love to have another food truck. We're going to have some there already, but just to stack it up a little more. So go on bedfordareachamber.com. You can also contact us. Listen to the whole podcast. I'll drop the phone number at the end. All right. Well, let's actually get to the exciting part of this podcast. I have another guest here with me this morning, another chamber member. I'd like to say good morning and welcome to Laura Tyree with Travel Lovers.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm loving this little studio you have going here.
Right? Woody has got an awesome setup in here. I always talk to people. It's unbelievable that it used to be a garden center.
I know. It's very cozy.
Yes, it is. Woody turned on the heat for us this morning, so we're all cuddled up.
Good. It's a little cool this morning.
Right? Well, Laura, before we get into the questions, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and about Travel Lovers?
Yes. So I have been, again, Laura Tyree. I have been with Travel Lovers for about 21 years.
Wow.
And was a photographer in another career prior to that.
Cool.
Doing some things. But been doing this for a while and absolutely love it. Love traveling. We offer so much for our clients, and we really we enjoy establishing relationships with our client, which is something that people can't get when they go online and things like that. So we like it when people can come in and we can sit down face to face and talk about things. But our agency really is pushing for education for our agents. So our agents go out and see hotels and resorts and things like that and come back so we can bring firsthand information to our clients and things like that. So we do a little bit of everything. And like I tell people, sometimes if it involves leaving your home, we probably do it for you.
Well, excellent. And for all of our listeners, Laura has actually planned 2 trips that I've been on.
Yes.
Because my mom is one of your clients.
She is. She is. I've enjoyed sending your family away.
Well, we've enjoyed every vacation that you've planned for us.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's great. You've had some exciting ones.
We have. You actually planned the very first time that I went out of the country. It was for my senior trip in high school.
Oh, that's right. I've forgotten that.
We went to Italy for 2 weeks, and I'm a very, very anxious person, and I didn't realize how bad I was at traveling. And because the very first 2 days, I'm like recovering from like a red-eye flight and like trying to adjust, and I don't know the language, and we went through 3 different countries on the way there, so it was really awesome, but I was overwhelmed. But it was great because we always had transportation. We always knew where we were going. We had plenty of time, downtime in between the things that we did, and it never felt too scary.
That's good. We try to make it seamless.
Yeah.
We don't want you to have a vacation that you need a vacation to recover from.
Right?
We want you to enjoy it the first time.
Well, what are some of the reasons that you think people should get a travel agent?
So, there's so many different things that people see. You can pick up a magazine and you can see travel related things, or online they kind of populate you first time you do a Google search, then all of that geo
Yeah.
tracking starts throwing things at you. And it's easy to get lost and to get
Mhm.
sucked in. But, travel agents, we do this every day. So that's all we're focused on. So we learn which vendors are going to give us the best deals for this
Mhm.
type of travel or that type of travel. We offer so many different varieties that kind of fit everyone's needs. If you want to go and have your hand held the whole time or go on an escorted tour, with a group
Yeah.
of people. So you just kind of move from place to place and all you have to worry about is what time to get up, what time to go to bed. Or if you want to do something independent or cruise or what have you. But we're the advocate for our clients. There's nothing more horrifying than being in a foreign country and have some little hiccup
Yeah.
occur. And now you're on a 2-hour hold on a 1-800 number,
Mm.
back to the United
Yeah.
States, and whoever you're waiting for may or may not be able to help you.
Mhm.
So, we're the advocates for our clients.
Mhm.
So if something's going on, we not only give our clients emergency phone numbers and contact information for wherever they are so
Mm.
that they have people on the ground that are nearby that can help them, but they also can get back in touch with us
Yeah.
and we can assist them, whether it's getting a refund for something, whether it's untangling some
Mm.
little issue that's occurred. But, it's hard when you're trying to do that over a 1-800
Oh,
number.
yeah.
And websites don't interact with you about trying to find out what's in your head,
Yeah.
what kind of experience you're visually,
It's
mentally
just easier to
visualizing.
talk to someone.
Exactly. And, we try to find out what somebody's got in their head and make that come true.
Yeah.
Websites don't do that for you.
Mm.
So, and it's nice to have somebody that you can come in and see.
Oh, yes. I think that having a human contact when again, I'm an anxious person, don't travel well, but I think it's so great to have somebody, to collaborate with you on travel plans and
Right.
also, like, just the safety of it.
Right.
Like, when we were abroad one time, our flight
I
got com
remember that.
yes, our flight got completely moved, and then it got canceled, and
And
my
we had
mom
to
was
shift gears on the fly.
yes.
We did.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was, like, 2 days before we were supposed to go, and it was just I could see my mother about to have a meltdown, and my mom does not melt down like that.
Right, right. I remember that email. I remember that
Yes.
email, but we got it taken care of,
Yes.
and it ended up being smooth. But yeah, so that's some of the things that
Mhm.
that we can come in and pinch hit,
Yeah.
for, we can also take, you being an anxious traveler,
Mhm.
we work with people that have those same anxieties
Yep.
about traveling all the time, and it's so much easier to calm someone down when you're face to face.
Yes.
Someone on a telephone's not gonna do that for you. And definitely if you're working with a website, you don't have any interaction at all.
Mm-mm.
So you're just kind of taking it for granted that it's all gonna it's
Yeah.
all gonna work out smoothly and, keep your fingers
Just
crossed.
literally keeping your fingers
Keeping your
crossed.
fingers crossed, keeping your fingers crossed. But yeah, we value our client relationships and they
Mhm.
trust us,
They do.
and we give them great information. I used your situation actually with your family with that canceled flight.
Oh, really?
Used that as a reason with some other clients as to
Nice.
why we should do a direct flight to where they were headed
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
hopping through, multiple countries on
We
another
learned our
regional
lesson on
carrier.
that one
And
too.
sometimes that kind of stuff happens. It's unfortunate, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. What are some other services that you guys provide? I don't know too much about like
Mhm.
travel agencies and planning.
Sure. Well, we do everything from the simple car reservation,
Mhm.
flight, and hotel reservation. We do have some business clients, a
Mhm.
few that we do things for around the country, mostly domestic. So we can do those kind of basic arrangements. But then, and I've never done one, but I've always wanted to put somebody on a chartered flight, their
Mm.
own little plane, and
Yeah.
send them to the Med where they can get on their own little yacht, and we can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we do everything in between. So it's river cruises, ocean cruises,
Mm.
tours, independent trips to the Caribbean,
Mm.
weekend getaways to Las Vegas or San Francisco, or a train trip up to New York or New England. Again, if it involves leaving your house, we do it. But some of the odd things that we do currency exchange, foreign currency
Oh.
exchange. So even if you have, say, a child that's getting ready to do a study abroad,
Mhm.
you need a little cash, you can come by the office and we can do currency exchange faster than most of the
That is
local banks
yeah, that
for
is very
people.
helpful.
We can even help with visas and passport
Mhm.
expediting. We do things like that.
That's nice.
Um, and we can advise. We have a lot of information at our fingertips about where you can go and what's
Mhm.
required to go. There's still a lot of places where if you go to visit, you need a visa that you
Yeah.
have to apply for in
Mhm.
advance. And a lot of people, when they go online, there's not anything that's going to tell them that they need that.
Yeah.
So we do that advice, and offer that kind of service. Um, but we can also provide a lot of in-destination information,
Mhm.
let people know, you might want to shift that trip a week or so. Otherwise, you're going to land in the middle of the
Mhm.
whatever festival. And unless you're going
Mhm.
for that, you might want to change when you
Yeah.
go to avoid all those extra tourists and things like that. So not only do we do a lot of advisement, but we do currency exchange, help with passport
Cool.
expediting, visas, all kinds of things like that.
And those are all super necessary because I actually have a friend that just went to York to go to school.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, so he had to do all the visa stuff, all different sorts of, immunities and just, like,
Hmm.
various things, but he had to learn about it all on his own.
Right.
And, it's very stressful. He felt like he was just kinda learning it as he
Well,
went.
you're afraid you're gonna miss something.
Yes,
You're afraid you're gonna
and
miss
his
something.
dad ended up throwing away his brand new birth certificate that he had just
Oh,
ordered.
no.
Yes. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
it
a
was terrible.
nightmare.
Yes, but that stuff takes, like, your visas, your passports, all if you wait on it, it's gonna take forever.
Oh, it does, it
Yeah.
does, and sometimes you can expedite things, but then that's at a much, much higher cost,
Yep.
and you're still sweating bullets because you wanna make sure that it gets where it
Yeah.
goes. We also do a lot of motor coach trips, which
Oh,
is something
really?
that a lot of people aren't aware of. We have, an annual trip that goes to Myrtle Beach that
Mm.
happens at the first part of November, um, Christmas in Myrtle Beach, so it's full of the shows and the
Yeah.
shopping and all kinds of activities and things like that. But we do a lot of regional motor coach trips and things like too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of your favorite trips that you've planned?
Oh, boy.
I know there's probably so
There
many.
are, there are. I really like it when people challenge me a little bit
Oh,
and
really?
and want to go someplace and do something a little different than the norm.
Mhm.
I've started doing some adventure travel for some of my
Mm.
clients, where I have some clients now that are going in December, going down to New Zealand to do a biking trip with
That's
a
cool.
vendor that just does biking. And it's kind of they have tiers, if you're
Yeah.
an easy biker or you're a biking fiend,
Mhm.
you can be on the same trip and just maybe pedal a shorter distance that day or something like that. But they're going down to do biking and then they're going diving
Oh,
in
wow.
Fiji before they come back.
That's
And
so cool.
so those are exciting. Those are
Yeah.
really exciting to plan. And then trips like what your family did, the
Mhm.
ones where I've got a family going someplace and they're moving from one place to another.
Yeah.
So we're taking care of some little day activities and tours. Maybe it's a cooking class in Tuscany,
Mm.
things like that. Then another favorite, I think, is the South Pacific.
Oh, really?
Sending people to Tahiti for that overwater
Oh,
bungalow kind
yeah.
of
That
experience
is
or
really cool.
something like that. Those are really fun. A lot of honeymoons
Mhm.
and things for down
Oh,
there, but
nice.
it's a big family destination too, which a lot of
Oh,
people
cool.
don't think about because they're seeing that overwater bungalow and
Mhm.
all of the romance. But it's a great family destination too, with lots of things for kids to do. So I like planning trips down there as
Yeah.
well.
That is
They're
really
all
awesome.
fun. They're
I
all fun.
I was gonna say your job sounds awesome.
It can be pretty fun. It can be pretty fun. Now in COVID, it stunk.
Oh, really?
During COVID, it
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we just
Nothing to do. Mm.
canceled things, rebooked things, and we did that for kind of 2.5 years. But we must have done a good job at it because I think we're the only, maybe one of two agencies in Lynchburg where you can still just walk in the door.
Oh,
Everybody else
wow.
went virtual or,
Gotcha.
isn't operating a physical location anymore. They didn't come out of COVID, as well as we
Yeah.
did.
And that's one of the benefits that you said of having a travel agent is being able to sit down face to face and talk to someone.
Exactly, exactly, and I know there are a lot of home-based agents out there and
Mhm.
things like that, but, we don't need to meet you for coffee at
Yeah.
Starbucks. You can come in and sit
Yeah,
down
it
and,
sets y'all apart a little
yeah,
bit.
and things like that, Yeah, so it's good. There was a Peru trip too that I planned for a family one time, and they moved around, went to
Oh, cool.
Machu Picchu and saw a lot of the
That is
ruins
so
and those ancient
cool.
sites and things like
Yeah.
that. In fact, I was able to arrange for the hotel that the family stayed in had a special arrangement with the park there,
Mhm.
and they were able to go onto the summit first thing in the morning before all the tourists were able to come in.
That's
So
great.
they had kind of magical, serene,
Yeah.
kind of spiritual moment on Machu Picchu early in the morning as the sun was rising.
I am so freaking
Oh, they
jealous of
sent me
that.
pictures. I got goosebumps on that one. That
Yeah.
was a really good feel good experience
Being at Machu Picchu in the early morning with nobody else
with
around
nobody
you,
else around. Yeah.
that is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, a layman would not know about that relationship between the resort and the
Exactly,
park.
exactly, and this same family, did another trip
Mhm.
to Peru a few years later, and they flew over. I'm not sure if you're aware of have you ever heard of the Nazca Lines?
Mm-mm.
It's an area in Peru that you fly over, and there are all of these drawings on the earth
Oh,
that are
yeah.
huge, and you can only see them from the air, and they still don't know who drew them,
Yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
they drew them for, because you could only see them from the air, and back then,
Yeah.
you know, 5,000 years ago, you
It
didn't
was
have
gonna be in
things
the
flying
air.
around, or at least not normal things. But they took a picture of me from my Facebook page and took a picture of them in the plane with me in the back seat flying over the Nazca lines because I've
Oh,
always wanted to go there and I haven't been yet.
that is so cool.
So that was the way that the clients paid me back.
That is really sweet.
They took me virtually over the Nazca line, so it was a very cool thing. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I that is so awesome. World travel is just amazing. There's so many things in this world,
And
historical
it's
and
so much easier to
mysterious,
get
and
anywhere.
yeah.
It used to be a lot more difficult, but now you can pretty much get anywhere you want to get
Ah,
to
global
pretty
connection.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
Well,
travel exciting.
it it certainly does. There is nothing on this world that we cannot touch if we put our minds to it.
That's true.
Yeah, I had a friend that was gonna go to Antarctica this summer, and yeah, her
Nice.
plans ended up changing, but she's going next summer.
Oh,
So,
good.
it's insane. It is
That's
crazy.
harder to get to
Oh,
because
yes.
the restrictions and things for there have
Yes.
kind of heightened up over the last decade,
Yes.
to keep it pristine and that kind of
Mhm.
thing. So there's a little bit less opportunities to get there, but still some really fascinating and exciting ones.
Yeah, she's going for research purposes,
Excellent.
so I don't think you can just go on a vacation to Antarctica. Probably not,
No, you
but
can just visit for a day on a cruise ship and some other things, but she'll have a much more in-depth
yeah.
experience for sure.
We'll see, and you come with the Antarctica knowledge, so
Yeah. You'll
knowledge
have
of
to
the
send me some
world.
of those photos when she sends them
I
through. I'd love to see
will.
pictures over there.
Right? I think it's gonna be so awesome. I'm very jealous of her. She has some really great, opportunity all my friends are traveling and going crazy. I enjoy Bedford, though. I'm good staying here and
There you go.
learning about it. Well, you mentioned earlier that COVID really changed the game with traveling.
It did.
Is there still would you consider that it has impacted, like, travel as it is now, and changes to tourism?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think one thing that it did is that it built up this really huge pent up frustration
Mm,
for wanting to travel.
yeah.
Because this year, not only are the numbers of travelers and tourists have far
Mhm.
exceeded those in 2019 to the point where it's almost a frenzy of
Mm.
travelers. We have people going to places in Europe well into November and early December,
Oh,
where
wow.
normally you would see that kind of end
Yeah.
at the end of September for the most part. But people are using up any credits that they have.
Mhm.
Any credit that they had with a tour operator or a vendor or cruise line or what have you, most of those expire at the end of 2023. So I think that's one of the things
Oh.
that kind of fed the frenzy. People
Yeah.
didn't want to leave credits on the table. Um, so they are out there traveling in droves. But one of the challenges that we've seen is that there are far less support people out there in the universe supporting travelers
Mm.
because a lot of those taxi drivers, the tour guides that
Mhm.
took groups through museums, they had to find other jobs
Mhm.
during COVID because the tourists weren't traveling.
Yeah.
So there's far less of those people now.
Mhm.
So the groups that go into museums are larger because there's less tour
Yeah.
guides to take them. If one flight is late, then the drivers that are picking everybody up are a little late because it's a
Yeah.
domino effect. So there have been a lot of challenges that COVID has brought on,
Mhm.
but we are seeing kind of a resurgence of the new variant of COVID in Europe. A lot of
Mm.
our clients are coming back with very mild cases, but coming back with
Ooh.
cases of COVID. And I think that's probably just because people are more relaxed. Not as many
Yeah.
people are wearing masks on planes, things like that. And we're actually encouraging people, if you're in a big group of strangers and you hear people coughing and sneezing and carrying on,
Take
It's not a bad
protect yourself,
idea to
yeah.
put that mask back on. It might not protect you from a COVID situation if they just have a cold, but I don't really want anybody else's cold or flu either.
Mm-mm.
Those can set you back just as much. So
Especially when you've got everybody traveling all at once, coming from different places.
exactly, exactly. Something else that we've seen from COVID is there were a lot of websites out there prior to COVID
Mhm.
that were never taken down when they went out of business
Yeah.
during COVID. So be careful when you're looking at things because you might be looking at a website that looks like it's all live and working.
Mhm.
And as soon as you put money in, it's gone because there's nobody on the other end.
Oof.
Things have charged,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So you have to be careful and make sure that you're using secure websites and things like that. But so traveling post COVID, book early, plan it
Okay.
early. The last minute stuff gets sucked up really quickly.
Gotcha.
And where you might get a last minute deal on a hotel, last minute air is not usually a good
Mm.
deal at all. You could be paying twice as much. I had a
Ah.
client that booked a hotel to go out to Palm Springs for a concert that
Mhm.
was last weekend, and I don't know any details about the concert, but he thought the air was expensive when we were looking at it in April, so he procrastinated. He ended up getting air 2 weeks ago and paid more than twice what I was quoting back in April.
Oh, no.
The air had been about $800 from Charlotte, which was very high to go to
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's another thing that's happened is airfares have gotten a
Everything is
lot
expensive.
higher.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Another reason to book early because you do get a better selection,
Mhm.
probably better pricing. But yeah, he ended up spending instead of $800 for air, he ended up spending $2,000 for air. So you
Oh
can't
my
procrastinate post
gosh.
COVID. You just have to
You gotta act.
start working early
Yeah.
and do it as early as you can. The better off you are. We're already booking things into next summer.
What?
Yeah, and cruises into 2025. People are now now that they've got the bug back and they're moving
Yeah.
around, they're sewing up things, they're booking 2 trips for 2024, looking at 2025. It's like, "Holy moly, what's going on?" So we are very, very busy. We like
I'm
being very
sure.
busy, but it's almost like, "Wow, what happened?"
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, all the little, like, trip ideas I have in my brain, I'm like, "Oh, no, I need to start planning for next year."
Jot them down. Yeah, jot them down. Let's get going.
Oh my gosh.
At least you're fact finding and information. It's good
True.
to, research the place that you want to go.
Mhm.
That's a big one, and decide what you want to see and what you want to
Yeah.
do. Because a lot of times people will see photos of something and want to go there
Mhm.
based on what they saw in photos, but they really don't know a lot about
What is actually there.
what's actually there to see.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of doing themselves a disservice because there
Mhm.
might be something really awesome there and they might miss it just because they're
Mm.
not aware.
Yeah.
So do a little research, it doesn't hurt, or give us a call. We'll do the research for you, give you all the information. Make it easier on you. That's another thing that we kind of pride ourselves on is we're going to save people an awful lot of time
Mhm.
because we know where to look.
Oh, for sure.
Most people are so busy these days, they don't have time to spend 8 hours a week
Yeah.
working on researching for their vacation next year. But we do have that time.
Mhm.
So we can do that for you. Save you a lot of time, in a lot of cases, money too.
Oh, yeah, and frustration because I know that
Oh, definitely.
I start getting pissed as soon as I can't find what I'm looking for. Like, if
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking for it for more than, like, 10 minutes, like, I'm just gonna have to take a break.
Or you go down the rabbit hole. You see
Yes.
something else and then look at that for a minute, and then 2 hours later, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I never found the hotel I was looking
And, like, I have such trouble, like, making decisions and, like, being and, like, comparing everything and, like, getting stuck on the price rather than what is actually, like, being offered.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that's something that a lot of people everyone's price conscious,
Mhm.
and people wanna go for as little as they possibly can, but there's a difference between cheap and inexpensive,
Yeah.
and I have mentioned to people, would you rather spend $3,500 and have the best time of your life or $2,800 and have a horrible time?
That's true.
Is that picture of that hotel really what you're getting?
Yeah,
You know?
it's give and take with that type
Yeah,
of
it
thing.
is. So
Yeah.
there, you got to find that balance, and that's where we kind of help the client, kind of balance that out because we can probably compare some of those different hotels because we may have had clients that have gone there already.
Mhm.
Because when you look at reviews and things online, you have to kind of watch where people are from.
Yeah.
If you see someone in New York City give a bad review about food somewhere and someone in Kansas City give a great review about the same food, it's because the people in New York have five-star food options
Mhm.
available to them all over the
Mhm.
place, and the Kansas City person probably has less options. So it's on a floating scale. So you've got to watch those reviews from
Yeah,
people that you don't know because you don't know what motivated that.
that is very true. Well, I feel like I have so much food for thought now. I'm like, all right, Foster, let's put together a whole plan to travel somewhere.
There you go.
But you said that you have worked for Travelovers for 21 years, you said?
21 years,
21
yes.
years.
Mhm.
So not only are you trained, but you have 21 years of experience.
Right. There are 4 of us in the office, and
Cool.
collectively, we have over 100 years of experience.
Oh my
We've been in the
gosh.
business we've all been in the business a long time, and we
Yeah.
and we have some new ladies that have just come on board.
Excellent.
We had to kind of expand our business because of the volume of travelers that we're dealing
Good.
with, so they're doing very, very well, so they'll be little experts soon.
Nice.
Yeah, we had to expand a little bit just to be able to keep up, but we do have a lot of experience, so we've
Yeah.
been to a lot of places.
Yeah.
Um, we've experienced a lot of things, and we can share that with our clients, and make their experiences
Mhm.
easier, as a result of that. And I actually take groups of people with me
Mm.
and take a trip, 1 or 2 trips a year to different places in Europe.
Awesome.
So a couple of times a year, I have folks that leave Lynchburg with me. We have a,
Mm.
a chartered vehicle that takes us to whatever airport we're flying out of, whether it be Richmond or Dulles. So we all go together. I'm with them the whole time, get them all through customs,
Yeah.
immigration, and then we take a trip together and come back and do that. So I've been doing that since about 2011,
Yeah.
2012. So that's real fun too. So
That is
I
really
have a little
cool.
band of merry travelers that kind of go
Aw.
with me all the time, and then new people will come, and
Yeah.
sometimes folks can't make this one or that one or whatever, but we're a force to be reckoned with. They're an expert little group of travelers, I tell you. But that's a fun thing.
Yeah, and I actually had a woman reach out to me the other day to ask if our chamber did guided European tours, and I said no, but I know the Travel Lovers does.
Yes,
So
we
here's their phone
do.
number.
Yes, we do. And a lot of people, especially after they're at retirement age, or maybe they're traveling solo,
Mhm.
you know, escorted type of tours and activities are great for them because they meet other people.
Mhm.
They make new friends, and they don't feel like they're traveling alone.
Yeah.
So those escorted tours through Europe, they've become very, very popular for solo travelers. I usually have 3 or 4 people that travel solo with
Oh,
me that go on
that's
those groups.
awesome.
And I always tell them, "We embrace you. You're not a fifth wheel. You're part of the group." You're part of the group. So, you don't feel left out.
Mhm.
You feel included. You feel a part of the group. And a lot of times you make lifelong friends.
That that's awesome.
In fact, the very first group that I escorted
Mm.
to England back in either 2011 or 2012. There was a lady that I met the first night there. I had taken my mother along with me, and she was
Mhm.
on the trip. And when the lady entered the room for our welcome dinner, she asked the guide that was there where she should sit. And the
Mhm.
guide said, "See those 2 ladies over there? They've been laughing and having a good time ever since they got here. One of them's a travel agent. Why don't
Yeah.
you go over and sit with them?" Marcia McCarthy sat with us, and we have been buddies ever since. She's one of my closest friends.
Awesome.
It took 6 years before we even saw each other in the United States. We'd
What?
only meet when she would go with me on the tours to Europe.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we did that for a few years, and then we actually, started doing some things
Yeah.
here domestically. But one of my best
It's
friends,
incredible.
yeah, and she's going along with me on a trip here in about 3 weeks. I'm taking a group to France.
That is so
So you
cool.
meet people on these trips that
Yeah.
become lifelong friends. We hit it off just like we'd known each other. And if she hadn't sat down for dinner, we
That
would have missed that connection.
that is incredible. That I think it's so great, like, having people come together in different spaces and just, like, the fated meetings,
It is.
It's
It's
crazy.
amazing. We've met people in bars in Dublin
Mm.
that we've had incredible conversations
Yeah.
with and learned about their life there.
Mm.
They were locals, and we just start up conversations, and they had a sheep farm just outside of town, and they had lost a sheep the day before but had found it that morning, and were telling us all about that.
Oh
So
my
you just
gosh.
never know what kind of connections you're going to
Yeah.
make, whether it's musical, whether it's personal, whether you meet other travelers, or you meet people that live where you're going that offer fascinating stories that you can share with.
I feel like I as I've gotten older, I've enjoyed speaking with people just strangers, so much more than I did as like a awkward kid. And
Right.
because there's so much to be learned from other
There
people,
is. There
not
is.
not only like in our own community, like during this podcast, but
Mhm.
also like out in the world and just anywhere that you go that's new. Like every time I go to the beach with my family, I love speaking to like the cashiers, the waitresses, the people that I see on the beach
Oh,
walking around
definitely.
because they just always like sometimes most people, I mean, they do a little chit chat and then they keep it going.
Mhm.
But other people, they'll share something beautiful with you.
Exactly, and that enriches your life
It does.
as well as giving them a connection to you from
Mhm.
their point of view. You know, there's so many things that we can learn as we travel around the world,
Mhm.
not only, about different people and different circumstances, but different cultures and
Yes.
how they, how they originated, and I think the more understanding that we have about people that live differently from us, then that brings a little extra peace to the world. If you
It
make a
does.
little friend here, if you make a friend there or a new acquaintance here, you learn something about someone else, and in this world when you can be anything, it pays to be kind and be a
Mhm.
friend and be friendly to someone else.
Absolutely.
And you'll benefit because you're going to learn something new and experience something that you may not have experienced
Mhm.
before as you travel the world and see new things and experience new things. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's a win-win for everyone.
You have a great mindset.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have great energy. I've enjoyed speaking with you this morning.
My energy is my enthusiasm, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's usually catching. Sometimes people jump up out of the seat in front of my desk and they're all spastically excited when they leave. I've jazzed them up and they get them all excited about their trip.
Well, awesome. Well, I only have really one more question.
Mhm.
I can guess that the answer of why you became a travel agent is you love to travel. But is there anything specific that you'd like to share about that decision?
It actually came about in a really odd way.
Okay.
I had worked for Ritz Camera Centers. I was a
Mhm.
district manager for Ritz Camera Centers and a photographer, um, and decided that it was changing. The industry was changing a little bit, so
Yes.
I left in right after 9/11,
Mhm.
and there was about 6 months where I was trying to decide what I wanted to do,
Mhm.
and so looked at some different things and I did love to travel, and I had
Mhm.
won some trips during my career with Ritz
Oh,
Camera.
awesome.
So, that kind of kept coming to the surface.
Yeah.
So, the agency that I now work for, it was under a different name,
Mhm.
still owned by the same person, but it was a Carlson Wagenly Travel
Okay.
before we became travel lovers. And that company, that agency, which
Mhm.
is who I work for now, had actually been I took the credit for a trip that I had won, and they arranged it for me.
Gotcha.
So I had a contact there.
Mhm.
So I reached out and asked if they might be hiring, and they were.
Oh,
So
nice.
I sent my resume to the owner and mentioned the fact that one of his agents had taken care of a trip for my
Mhm.
husband and that I'd like to talk to him about career
Mhm.
opportunities. And quickly found out, it was a small office. They were actually advertising for a part-time person and I
Mhm.
needed full-time. But after we talked about the things that I wanted to do, because I wanted to escort some groups and things like that. So it was a little unique
Mhm.
and he liked what he heard, thank goodness.
Right?
And that was 21 years ago. So I owe this career to my boss, Steve and Barbara Arthur own the agency. And, it was magic after that. We've got a great relationship. I
Mhm.
absolutely love, coming in every day unless there's a hurricane on the horizon. Usually that can warp a day up a little bit,
Oh,
but
for
to
sure.
get some displaced clients moved around. But, I've never held a job that I didn't enjoy. And when I
Mm.
started to
Not many
not
can say
enjoy
that.
it, I moved on.
Yeah.
Life is too short. You don't wanna work to live. You wanna live you don't wanna live to work. You wanna
Yeah,
work to
yeah, yeah.
live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, so I don't know that I'll ever retire from this job,
Oh
unless
my
Steve sells the
gosh.
agency and kicks me out or something like that. But, why would I wanna leave a job where I get to travel the world and meet
That's
all these
true.
great people? And do all these great things. And I like helping people have their memories come to life.
Mhm.
People have bucket lists of these,
Oh, yes.
wonderful things that they want to do. And sometimes they're very easy.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's they want to take their family to Disney, and that's wonderful. We do these
Mhm.
multi-generational trips,
Aw.
where the whole family piles
Yeah.
in cars or planes or whatever and goes to Disney. But it's exciting to see those things happen. I just did a wedding on a cruise. They took all their friends with them and
Oh, that's so
sent me pictures of the
cool.
ceremony and things like that. And, you just, it just it fills my heart up
It
to,
brings you joy
yeah, it
to bring
does.
others
It brings
joy.
me
Yeah.
joy for other people to live the dream that they've had when it
Yes.
comes to travel. Makes me happy. I like it.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy that I asked. And thank you so much for joining me this morning. Is there anything else that you would like to say? And if what would you say to somebody that is considering a trip, doesn't know if they want a travel agent, not sure what the next steps
I
are?
think if they give us a call, they can
Mhm.
give Travel Lovers a call. Is it okay to give our phone
Yes,
number?
please say
Okay.
your phone number.
Our phone number is 434-385-5192, or they can email info@travellovers.com.
Excellent.
And just ask questions. Just give us a call.
Mm.
You can come in and sit down. It's no obligation.
Mm.
We have people come in and sit with us all the time, just trying to decide whether a trip is feasible for them
Yeah.
and when and what's to be expected and how much should they estimate,
Mhm.
and things like that. But all of that fact finding and research makes a better trip for you when you finally
Mhm.
go. And we don't mind spending time with people. They may not go for a couple of years, but come and talk to a professional to see
Yeah.
if we can help you. Probably we can, but if it ends up being something that you want to do yourself, we get it.
Mhm.
It's okay. There's no pressure or anything like that. We don't mind sitting down with you and chatting about travel. That's what we do every day. We
Yeah.
like it. We enjoy those. So give us a call, come by. You know, we're the professionals. We do it all the time. We're going to make it easy for you. We're like the free maid service. If you could have somebody come and clean your
Oh my
house
gosh.
as well as you do, or if not a little better, and it doesn't cost you anything else, wouldn't you take advantage of it?
That is very true.
So come on
You've
aboard.
you've got me, Laura.
Come on in, Foster. We'll fix you up. We'll get you where you want to go.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Well, thank you again for joining me this morning.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was my pleasure. I really appreciate the invitation. It's been great chatting with you, Foster.
Of course. Well, I hope that all of our listeners enjoyed this conversation. And if you need anything or want to know anything from the chamber, you can give us a call at 540-586-9401. And you can also hit up our website, which is lovingly maintained by yours truly, bedfordareachamber.com. But just keep an eye out for the next Chamber Vibes podcast.